Okay.
The airport.
It's 8:30, so we'll go ahead and get started. So Pat, would you do the roll call?
Ms. Anderson?
Here.
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Mr. Floor?
Here.
Mr. Hardeman?
Here.
Mr. Horn?
Here.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mrs. Storr?
Here.
Mr. Chairman, there are 7 board members present, therefore we do have a quorum.
Okay. I'm going to make a couple, one announcement here because I know some of you may be here for the Druid Hills and the capital planning meeting. And we promised we would do this at the June meeting, and we are going to do it. We're going to have to do it tomorrow. We just have a full agenda, and some of us have a dinner that we got to get to tonight. And we want to give it enough time so that people could ask their questions and get answers. So we're going to do it tomorrow after the board meeting. We go into the board meeting. We usually get done somewhere around 10 or something like that. We're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we're going to do the Druid Hills and the capital planning piece. So I apologize. It was only after we started putting the agenda together. We've got several large topics that we've got today, and we need to give those the time that they deserve too. So I'm sorry if that's why you came, but we are going to do it tomorrow. It will also be streamed tomorrow, and it'll be archived. So I know, Chuck, you told me you weren't going to be here, so you'll be able to get to it. And I apologize for the mix-up, but it was something that's just unavoidable. Okay? With that, the financials. Are you ready?
Just give me 2 seconds to boot up, please.
1,
Time's up.
2, it's done. Well, in that case, then I'll go ahead and give you some other things that I want to make sure everyone's aware of. We've got a lot going on this weekend, and hopefully the weather will cooperate. And if it does, I want to point out a couple things that we have going on that would be hopefully of interest. One of the things that several of us are doing tonight is today is the start of the practice rounds for the Women's Open. And that's going to be a big deal here this month or this year. And we really are encouraging all of our members to come out and see it, cheer on the ladies, interact with them. But today's the practice round, and then tonight's their dinner. And then tomorrow actually starts the regular play for the tournament, and it goes Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It starts 7:30 in the morning and goes until the last one finishes. So if you have some time, go over there. Also at 1:30 to 2:30, there will be WAT, which is the ABC affiliate over in Knoxville, is going to be broadcasting here all day tomorrow. And they're not just doing Fairfield Glade, although that's going to be a big part of it. They're also doing spots for all of Cumberland County. Again, this is a big deal. From 1:30 to 2:30, they've set up a Meet the Anchors. Bo Williams and Lori Tucker, I think, right? Yeah, are the two that will be here. They'll have a couple others that'll be here as well. But please feel free. It's going to be set up. The Meet the Anchors is going to be set up right on the Stonehenge golf course right there by 18. There'll be a tent there that they're going to use to broadcast from. They're encouraging people to come over and say hi. So please do that if you have an opportunity. Also happening this weekend, if I can remember everything here, because there's a lot.
Okay.
And we're going to have a presentation at Saturdays at the final round, and you can also sign up at the Stonehenge Pro Shop, and we're going to give away a one-night stay and a round of golf at one of the Bobby Jones Links or Bobby Jones Trail courses over in Alabama, and it's free. So if you have an inkling to do that, go over to the pro shop there, sign up, and the drawing will be Saturday after the presentation of the winner, and you have to be there to win. So you got to be there, and we're doing that purposely because we want to see more people there. Also going on this weekend is Friday night. There's going to be a barbecue. If you haven't gotten your tickets, they're still available. You can get them at St. George Marina, or you can get them over at the Stonehenge Grill. Also have a Fairfield Glade Pickleball Classic is being played on Friday through Sunday, so that's available over at the Racket Center. And also there's going to be a concert at the Grove at 6 p.m. on Friday. So there's a lot going on. We encourage you to come out with your neighbors, your friends, enjoy the tournament. Hopefully the rain will stay away, We keep hoping, but a lot going on this weekend, and please take advantage of it. Did I stall enough?
Yep.
Okay. All right, Jonathan, it's all yours.
All right, for the month of ending June 30th, 2024, sewer operations revenue was favorable to budget by $54,400. Expenses were favorable to budget by $29,000. So a net surplus of $337 on a budgeted of $252. So favorable total by $84,000. Cash is still strong in the operating account, $1.387 million, and the capital has $2.687 million in the capital in the sewer operation. For the POA amenities, revenue was a little unfavorable, $269,000. A lot of that is due to food and beverage and some of the golf stuff that we've experienced. Some of the rain has affected a lot of the amenities here in the Glade, and we're realizing that right now. Cost of sales was unfavorable to budget by $63,000. Now, expenses were favorable by $748,000. One of the things I want to bring up is it's a more of a timing issue, because one of the biggest expenses we have, about $500,000 that were favorable to budget, is paving of the roads. And that is just a matter of when the invoices come in and the timing of those. So there's a $500,000 favorable in community maintenance, and that's due, like I said, to the road paving and when we get the invoices and when the work is completed. So again, it's a timing issue rather than an actual large variance. So the net subsidy is favorable by $415,000. Cash capital, $4.71 million. Operating, $953,000, and reserve, $6.6 million. As I mentioned before, the biggest variance, positive variance, is the community maintenance, which is $589,000 favorable to budget. F&B is unfavorable to budget by $271,000. And the center and recreation is favorable to budget by $95,000, giving us a total favorable variance of $415,000 when you combine the POA and the amenities. Again, remind you, $500,000 of that is road paving, so that variance will swing the other way. If there's any other questions, I'd be more than happy to take them at this point.
All right.
Jonathan,
Yes, sir.
in marketing, we've got 48 grand negative that we're showing there. Do we understand what that's about?
The marketing, hold on.
Is that perhaps a timing issue?
It is a timing issue. Yeah, a lot of these stuff, and you know, when they're budgeted and when they actually occur, sometimes there's a variance to the date that happens, and therefore you realize a negative variance in one month and have a positive variance on the other side. So that will straighten itself out, and just like similar to what I said on the roads. So it's really just a timing issue.
One of the other things that I would encourage us to look at as we do budgeting this year is that almost always we end up carrying a negative variance for insurance.
Yes.
Because typically we're setting the budget prior to getting the final numbers from the carriers and all that. And so I would encourage us as we look at this year to make sure that we're trying to compensate for that. 'Cause I don't think we've ever overestimated insurance costs. And that typically comes back to haunt us by the second or third month of the year because we set it lower than what the insurance carriers are actually going to charge. So.
Yeah, the tough part is normally on insurance, we end up getting a quote only 30 to 45 days before the renewal of the policy and with the timing of our renewals. And as everybody knows these days, the insurance market is better roll the dice because some, you know, depending on what has occurred, you know, whether there's tornadoes or hurricanes or whatever, we've seen some pretty big increases that are not really planned on our part as well. And they keep on telling us, you know, the insurance market as we go to the meetings and whatever say, well, we're expecting now a leveling off, and then as soon as we have that, we get another disaster, and it doesn't level off anymore.
Yeah, we got a really nice increase last year. I remember that.
Yes, it was
And,
a surprise.
and well, if you own a home or something like that, you probably saw a nice one in your own personal business too. So we're a reflection of that as well.
Well, and the tough part is the market in this industry is shrinking.
Yeah.
You have a lot of players leaving this particular segment of the industry. You know, they're not really crazy about golf courses and the liabilities that presents. Not to say that anything happens here, but it's just a more nationwide kind of thing. So as we build bigger and bigger clubhouses and as we get more and more dollar cost of damage, and as you know, if any of you have spent any time on the west coast of Florida, you know, Ian destroyed quite a few golf and country clubs, of which we are in that space. So that's why a lot of the vendors have left that market.
Okay? All right. We'll go on. Bruce?
I have some questions. Do I have to wait to the end, but it's financial questions?
No, go on ahead. Come on up here.
Sue Taylor. My first question is, last month you said that you were investigating if January to May revenues have all been posted. Has that been taken care of?
We're talking all about that this afternoon with Bobby Jones Links.
Okay.
Okay?
I guess I have a question about Bobby Jones. From what I understand, they employ all the servers, all
Yes.
the.
They're Bobby Jones Links employees.
So if there is theft involved in the restaurants, shouldn't Bobby Jones be paying for that, not us?
Well, first of all, we don't know that there's theft involved.
I'm saying if there is.
Well, that's a conversation we have to have with them because it's the nature of the theft, who did it, and all of that. So anytime we have a situation like that, we have to talk to them about it. We're not going to make a determination beforehand.
And if we're fined for a server serving alcohol to a minor, who's going to be paying for that?
They paid for that.
They paid for it? Okay. Okay, at the last meeting, you told me to compare 2002 financials to 2024, and I did. 2022,
Well,
as of,
actually, I was asking about 2023
Oh, you said 2020.
and 2022.
because look at 47 minutes into last month's meeting, because I've listened to it twice.
Well, okay, go on.
So I did, May 31st, 2022, food and beverage lost $166,149. May of 2024, food and beverage lost $201,356. Now, you told me to go back to 2022 because there's a big difference, a big improvement since 2022. My numbers show that that's like a $35,000 worst case scenario.
Well, I get what you're saying. I probably misspoke. It's actually 2023 when Bobby Jones Links took over the.
No, you said not to count 2023 because they didn't take over
Hold
until
on,
March.
hold on. Let me finish. If you take a look at the performance for the first 3 months of 2023, the subsidies that we were having were much higher than the rest of the year. That was truly because of Bobby Jones Links' performance. Now, the loss, the negative variance is the thing that we're talking about with Bobby Jones this afternoon. We have some suspicions about why that is, but we need to talk to them about it. And that's a meeting that we're having with them this afternoon. But I get your point. I do.
I mean, it's not getting better. But, so you'll find out this afternoon if a big part of this is theft by their employees.
Don't go there. We don't know that that's true
I'm
yet.
saying if.
Well, but you got to be careful. You're in a public forum now, and you're making accusations. And
But you're the
and
ones who said that part of the thing is theft. You're looking into if it's theft.
we're looking into a lot of things, okay? And I'm not going to go and say right now that one is the thing that's really causing all of it because we haven't had that conversation. But I don't want people on streaming or in this audience to believe that we've got a big theft problem over there, because we don't know that.
I'm repeating your words.
Okay.
I'll go back and watch all the YouTube videos, and I'll tell you the exact minute where you said theft. Okay.
Good, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, Bruce? Is Bruce here? Oh, oh no, we got Keith again.
Hey, Pete. I guess I sit here, right?
Yep,
Hello, everybody.
morning.
Bruce is not feeling well today, so I'm filling in for him. Sewer extension update, Tawny Oak, we're 65% complete. We've hit the first house on Tawny Oak Road. Then it's just a matter of putting it in after that. Fox Den has rock. We went up to the top of the cul-de-sac there and it has rock, I mean, to the top. So it's gonna be complicated to put the sewer in on Fox Den, but we'll get it, we'll make it happen. Other than that, that's the wastewater for us.
Okay,
Any questions? All right, thank you.
all right. Thank you, Sam.
The architectural controls report for June is as follows. Miscellaneous approvals for through June of 2024 is 930. Through the same time last year was 1,023. Disregard 1,066, I'm sorry. New homes approved through June of 24 is 64. Same time last year is 53. And new homes started through June is 60. Same time last year is 51. And new homes completed through June is 56. Same time last year is 60. Is there any questions?
Any questions for Sam? Okay. Want to talk about the policies?
Yes, I would like to talk
Yeah.
about policies. The policies were posted for review on the website. The responses were given to the Architectural Controls Committee at their last meeting. They are evaluating those inputs to see if changes need to be done, if the policy needs to be revised, if it needs to be updated, if it needs to be withdrawn. At this time, they have not made that decision. They just got them at their. We stopped the input for the comments the day before the ACC meeting. So they're reviewing those, and I'll have a better understanding at the next ACC meeting. I will say this, that we had 21 comments for the tree policy and 9 for the exterior amenities policy.
Any questions on the policies? Okay. Thanks a lot.
Had some hands raised.
Oh, yeah, Ted?
I do have a comment on the tree.
Come on up here so everybody can hear you.
Morning, Sam.
Good morning.
So, obviously, I've been very involved in the tree policy. My name's Ted Landers, by the way, I apologize. And this current version that came out, I had gone around, there was a petition, we had 428 signatures on it, and we had 7 needed changes. Of those 7 needed changes, only one of them was incorporated into this current proposed policy, and that was to label mature trees and to require 2 trees in each zone. This current policy, I'm concerned, doesn't have much teeth in it in order to ensure that 2 mature trees are kept in each zone. And the reason for that is that under excessive cutting, it states, and I like excessive cutting, by the way, so I'm in favor of this, anytime there are less than the required minimum number of existing trees on the property, but it doesn't state or in each zone, which I think is critical, because otherwise the builders will continue to stack all the trees at the back of the lot and not save mature existing trees in the front. And if you go to the fine policy, which is on Exhibit Exhibit B, it doesn't talk at all about a penalty, a financial penalty, if existing mature trees are removed from the front zone.
Well, this is all the things that the ACC is going to be looking at. They've got comments, obviously, and I think you probably made some of them.
I did, correct.
And they'll be looking at all of that, Ted, and I'm not going to presuppose what they're going to say, because quite frankly, they'll come to us with a recommendation.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Sam, were you going to say something?
I was. We received a specific comment about what Ted just mentioned, that anytime there's excessive cutting, it should not only involve the total number of trees, but the trees within each zone. And I passed that on to the committee. Additionally, that same comment addressed the fact that the fine doesn't address going excessive cutting in each zone. So that was one of the comments. So that was passed to the ACC.
So process is the ACC will look at it, they'll come back to us with a recommendation, and then we'll talk about it.
Very good.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ted.
Thank you, Sam.
All right, no problem.
Yeah?
Should I stay here?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
I won't let Sam.
All right.
Hi, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Gary Fitch. I have a slightly different concern about this, and the fact that the tree policy does not really address planting of trees, other than the required minimum trees. Let me go back and give you a little history here. About 5 or 6
Well, first of all, is that a
did-
comment that you made? Did you?
No.
Okay, comment period is closed.
It's closed.
The ACC has the comments that were received, and the board has not even seen the ACC's recommendations yet as it, but this probably needs to be addressed with the ACC.
Yes.
But I will say again, the comment period is closed. So addressing the board on it, they haven't seen it, they haven't seen the comments or what the final issue is. I wish you had sent comments to me.
Well, I'm sorry, but I missed the comment period.
Okay, I am not in favor, I have no
Yeah,
problem saying this.
This is going back to the ACC. The comments were out there. This is the second round of comments that were done.
Well, how are they ever supposed to know this if I don't tell them?
Well,
Comment period is
that's why
closed.
we had 60 days of comments. You know, I'm sorry, Gary, I'm not trying to be a son of a gun here, but the fact is, we can't keep getting new comments in all the time. There were 2 periods where we actually opened it up to the whole membership to make comments.
Okay.
And I'm sorry if you missed it, but we've got what we got. The ACC's dealing with it, and they'll come back with us with a recommendation. But the board is not going to have a discussion on this. That's what the ACC's for.
Okay,
Okay?
all right.
Thank you. Anything else on policies? Thank you, Sam. General Manager's report.
Thank you. Just want to thank those that attended the inaugural Breakfast with Bill. We had a full list of folks that came. It was limited to 50, and we had 50 sign up. So it was a very nice event. We had some good comments and shared some good thoughts and ideas and good takeaways. So encourage those of you who would like to come. The next one will be available in September. The date has not been finalized, but it will be in the middle of September. And priority will be given to those who did not get on the list for this past month. Going forward, generally, the initial one was just for me to kick it off and introduce myself and be available, which I will at all of future Breakfast with Bills, but I will add a particular area of focus within operations, and we'll have either the SMTs or members of the board, if the topic warrants, to participate in that and to continue to facilitate communications and availability to all of you. So thank you again to those that attended, and especially to Bobby Jones Links, who provided a beautiful breakfast for everyone to enjoy. So if you don't even have any comments, well, you might have a nice breakfast. So as Greg stressed, or excuse me, emphasized earlier, stated earlier, I should say, all of our preparations are in place for the Women's Open. We're very excited. Kudos to the staff, and particularly the agronomy team that has gotten the course in excellent condition and ready to go, and Jeff and his team as well. As always, we have a full field this year. We have 3 past champions. The current past 3 champions are participating, and I want I want to give special thanks to, especially to Mary Jo Page and her works as our marketing director, getting and her connections to get WATE here. We'll be here all day tomorrow, doing their complete broadcast. Both of their anchors, their meteorologists, their teams will be all over the property and featuring not only Fairfield Glade, but the Cumberland County region as for all of East Tennessee and their market to see and learn about. And so we're real honored and excited to have them here. And they'll be having a meet and greet tomorrow. And so if you want to stop by and say hello, I'm sure they'd love to see you. And hopefully the rain will stay at bay. We covered briefly the financial summary on food and beverage. As was said, we'll be meeting again this afternoon with representatives from Bobby Jones Links. I will state that their recent fish fry was a big success. They had over 270 guests at the fish fry. It generated approximately $6,000 in gross revenue. Cost of sales was estimated at $2,100, with labor cost at $400, so they had a resulting net profit of $3,500 on that event, which hopefully will help the bottom line for the month of July. We certainly were understanding but disappointed with Keith Bucher's need to resign his position as CFO. He's had some personal family matters that we understood and respect, and it's an unfortunate loss, but we all certainly give our thoughts and prayers to him. We are working, moving forward as we speak with the search for the CFO, and we'll keep you all abreast of the developments with that. Also, as was stated before, Amber Black is going to be leaving us August 5th, and we're conducting that search as well. So we look forward to bringing some more information forward on that as it comes forward. I do want to recognize and congratulate Keith Gardner. He has, over the last several months, has been given the opportunity to step up as the manager of for the wastewater management position. And Bruce Evans has indicated to me that he fully endorses him to succeed him in May of next year as the wastewater management manager. So we are proud of Keith, his growth, and look forward to him fulfilling that position. But in the meantime, Bruce will continue to work closely with him and develop him until such time that Keith goes into merry retirement at the brewery. So Keith, congratulations. With that, I believe that concludes my comments at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Major capital projects. Bruce. Sam. Oh,
Yeah, CAR.
oh, I'm sorry. We got the cars first. Sam. Keep checking the boxes off early.
I have a car for the Board of Directors to review today. It's for $33,000 for changes to the pool heating system in the indoor pool at the community center. Currently, this is a revamp and a rebuild of the pool system based on investigation by pool companies. It's replacing some valves that are worn out, some valves that are leaking by. It's rerouting some piping within that system, and it is replacing, relocating a filter that is 7 feet up on the wall and hard to operate. Is there any questions? This is in the budget.
Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on. This will be voted on tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
So those of you that will be here tomorrow will hear about it again. All right. Thank you, Sam.
Yes, sir.
Now, major capital projects.
Okay, Druid, the architect is continuing the detailed design of the Druid Clubhouse and site. We've ordered the modular building to provide temporary offices for pro shop personnel, and as I mentioned before, Central Tea Time will be moving to Room C at the library when we make this move. The architect is actually in town today on site. He and Dave Miser are reviewing 3 proposals from 3 construction companies, of which one will be recommended to the board next month to work with the architect in continuing the design. So we're moving right along. Our hope is to have that contractor, like I said, approved by the board next month, and then we'll continue to work with the team to continue the design. Bocce courts, the sidewalks are poured except for one space where they need to be able to get in at the courts, and they'll finish that once we get that done. They're starting to actually put the rubber matting down and the carpet down on the bocce courts themselves, and weather permitting will continue through that. I'm still hoping we get that finished by the end of August.
Okay. Ken?
Okay, on the emergency services complex, AEI out of Cookville continues to work on the architectural design drawings for the complex over there. I think you've all witnessed that the county is now removing the crushed stone that they've had stored on site for a while, and they're doing that as they do the chip and seal for this year's chip and seal allocation. So we expect that to disappear here shortly. The building orientation has been reviewed by the planning group, and that is set. The board reviewed some proposed changes to the structure at the appeals meeting. That's been passed on to AEI to make some final changes, and then once those final changes and a clean set of drawings has come back from AEI, we'll do the full financial review and compare the proposed project to the proposed project budget, and then we will share the plans with the planning group at that point in time. So we're getting very close to being able to lock down on the design, and that will then give us the projected costs for the project.
Okay. Member comments? Anyone want to make any comments? Go ahead.
Tom Ratcliffe. Greg, in question to whoever is handling this, or maybe it's the whole board, but my question is, you've begun the budget review process. Or the budget process, I should say. I'm curious moving forward, that's always been something that I look forward to seeing. What direction is the budget process going this year? And maybe you can, in the past, it seems that it was a break-even approach budget, and I could be wrong, but I'm looking for what's the direction.
Well, Jonathan, Bruce, you guys want to outline what we're doing in the budget process? Okay.
So, from a perspective of the budget process, all the department heads have their capital plans, and they're working on those. As they've also received, I think it was, what, 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, gotcha, sorry. They've all received their capital budgets, and as of 2-3 weeks ago, they received their operating budgets, which consists of the prior 3 years, last year's budget, this year's projected, and then they fill in next year's budget. It's based on assumptions that they create, like, for instance, they talk about different projects that they're planning. Give you an example, like the Tennessee Women's Open. So what do we expect for next year? Some goals and achievements that we need to budget for. So that budget is now being put together by the department heads. Once that is done, it is reviewed by Bill and myself with the department head. Any suggestions that we give them, hey, this looks a little high, or maybe you want to reconsider this, or whatever insight we give them, then they go back and rework the numbers. Once that's done, we put a full budget together that is presented to the FAC. The FAC then has, I think it's 2 weeks to comment and to make changes that they see fit, and then it goes to the board.
I will also say that the labor forecasts and labor projections have been completed by HR and were forwarded to the department heads and SMTs for their input into their budgets. There will also be a presentation by HR later today to the board regarding projections as far as labor, any change in the COLAs, or as well as our benefits package and what we're seeing as far as the projections from our brokers relative to the renewal.
I'm going to add one other piece here because we're trying to incent some different behavior. And so for the incentive comp for the key individuals that participate in that, I'm not going to go through all their goals because that would be too lengthy. But the funding goal, the thing that starts it all off, is what we're calling a gap goal. And a gap goal is the difference between expenses and income. And so you're incented to either get more revenue in if you're an amenity that generates revenue, or to control your costs if you're a cost department. So we're trying to incent different behaviors with that by actually having goals that tie to both the growth of revenue and the reduction of expense. In the past, we've more looked at reducing expense. And now we're trying to get that idea across that revenue is also a good thing to be generating. But you got to control the expense on that as well. Otherwise, your cost of sales can go a lot higher and you don't achieve what you want. So we're trying to do some things both in the incentive comp program and the performance management program and in the budget process that are trying to get these behaviors rearranged a little bit. Now, it's going to be hard. This is a big ship and it takes a while to turn it around. So it's going to take us a cycle or two before we get to really where I think we really need to go. Okay? Does that help?
As far as the schedule and timeline, it does go, will be the latter part of August. It will go to the FAC. Once I have met, and Jonathan, with the SMTs and given my and Jonathan's feedback and direction to them and had those discussions, it'll go to the FAC, and we will then get their input and their reactions and help to educate them as well as any recommendations or guidance that they can provide. And then once we go through that review by the FAC, it will then be with the FAC's recommendation, it will be forwarded to the board for the board's review. Those processes can take anywhere up through the middle part of October. And the real, obviously, drop dead is for the presentation to the membership and ultimately approval by the board. But the presentation will occur in November. So that's our timeline.
Can you explain what FAC is, please?
That is the Finance Advisory Committee, or Finance Committee for this property. Yeah, a lot of acronyms around here, so I'm actually getting up to speed on a few of them. So I was proud to be able to answer your question.
Okay.
Tom, I'll chip in here. Tomorrow we're going to be presenting a 10-year capital plan that addresses the next 10 years, hence its name. But the whole point is that you'll see some of those budget items and where we're headed over the next 10 years as well. This is a sea change for Fairfield, the way that this board and where we're heading and how we're doing things. And it's pretty, like Greg said, it takes a while to change the aircraft carrier. It's not a destroyer. We're a big ship.
I mean, I will say that in just labor is a big issue, and that's not unique to Fairfield Glade, but that is obviously something that we're going to have discussions with and expectations with regards to that front, because labor continues to be a challenge in many areas, both for recruitment and retention of current employees.
Any other comments from the membership? If not, we got a couple board comments. Bruce, you want to go through Wildwood Stables?
Sure. As you know, the well, as you may not know, actually, July 11th, the Wildwood Stables Committee concluded their report. They voted on it, and they sent it to the board. We have it as of today, is their recommendations. I reviewed it. Sam has reviewed it. The rest of the board has not. We are going to be discussing that at length today, and we're going to review the recommendations. It's a good, it's a great document because there's a lot of information in there, and the committee did, in my opinion, an outstanding job of what they were tasked with, of deliberations, getting data for us, wide-ranging data to position us properly with vis-a-vis the stables and the community club. So we will be reviewing that today, and you'll see that when we're done with the review. But we do have their recommendations with all that information. So I encourage you to see that.
Okay, you want to continue on with lot sales?
Lot sales. Just some boring numbers, which is cool because they speak for themselves. Last month there were 27 lots sold, 8 lots voluntarily returned, and 2 mergers. So when you look at the details of lots, and I had a question sent to me about how many lots do we have? When a lot is merged, it becomes 1 lot. So you see a reduction in the number of lots. So it's not like, that property went away, but it's just a count of what the lots are.
Okay.
The revised lot merger policy is still up there. I have received 0 comments on it, so it's pretty dull reading unless you have a septic system. But it's to clear up any ambiguities and let people know what's going on with when you merge a lot with septic, when sewer is available. And those comments are still out there, and the document is highlighted in yellow for the changes to that document. And it's ready to be voted on, because I have received 0 comments, and I don't know if Sam has. He can answer. I have not. Okay. So it's unanimous. Nobody cares but us.
Okay. All right. I think you see the other topics that we're going to be covering in the executive session. There is one additional one that was, I forgot to put it on. It's my fault. We are going to go over the strategic plan from the Strategic Planning Committee this afternoon. So that's another one. The topics with the fire department, the ones with Wildwood Stables, and the ones with the strategic planning are the ones that are causing that executive session to get a little bit longer, and the reason why we had to move the conversation around the capital plan and Druid Hills till tomorrow. So we want to make sure all those topics get enough time to go through them. And in order to do that, we had to move it for tomorrow. So there we go. Anything else? Yeah?
Ted Landers, just one quick question. When you did the last search for our CFO, you had a number of candidates that you interviewed, and then you selected the one gentleman. Do we have to start over from scratch, or can we just work off of that batch that you've already pre-interviewed and selected?
Well, there are only 2 people that we interviewed last time.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
actually, that's not accurate. We had 5.
Yeah, we had-
We had 5 final candidates that we did Zoom interviews with, very lengthy Zoom interviews. Of those 5, there was 3 that really didn't clear the hurdles based on their Zoom interviews. There were 2 final candidates that were brought on property and spent a full day with us and SMTs. And the second candidate has withdrawn their interest. And that was even, at the time that we chose Keith, shortly after, he was approach, but his, he said his spouse was not really open to moving, so.
No, I appreciate it. It's obviously it was a long process to try and come up with it, and it's an important position within our organization, so.
Yes,
Well,
it is.
and the issue you have, of course, Ted, is that, you know, when we conduct those interviews, that was months ago.
Yeah,
And people that are looking are not going to wait until
I understand.
they hear that, well, somebody left.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
Okay? All right. Anything else? If not,
Motion to adjourn.
is there a second?
Second.
Any conversation? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're adjourned. Thank you. Peace, please, that's my
Motion to unadjourn.
motion to adjourn for a second. We have a proposed revised document request, and it's going to be posted until the August board meeting, and that has to do with the document request fees. We're changing those, so if you're requesting information, so go on the website and please take a look at that, and make sure that you're aware of it. If there's any comments, make sure you make them. And one other thing that I should have pointed out, and I didn't, is the reserve study is being posted today. We're not going to require you to take a class. We're not going to require you to do anything. The whole study will be there. There'll be 2 documents there. One is the study with all the pictures and everything. The other is the spreadsheets. Now, I'm going to warn you, if you try to go year to year to year, 24, 25, 26, 27, you're not going to match up what the capital plan for the reserve study necessarily has with what are in those columns, because the operations group takes a look at those and really makes the decision whether or not that particular item needs to be done in that particular year, or something needs to move up, or something needs to move back. So if that's your intent, you're going to probably be going a little bit crazy, because those things have changed, and they will continue to change. So I just point that out, but the reserve study will be available by the end of the day today. Okay? Yeah.
Hello, sir. I have put in to speak.
Can you come up here, please?
Thank you for making it so comfortable that you don't have to stand. Okay, I have put in to speak at the board meeting today. Okay, I sent an email in, correct?
Yeah, they're during member comments.
Okay, because I don't know when the member comments come up. This is new to me.
Okay.
So, am I allowed to speak now? Or do
Yeah,
we
go on
wait?
ahead.
Okay, my name is Joanne Jordan. I live at 124 Hamlet Drive. Okay, I would like to thank the board members for the job you're doing. I know it's a very difficult and time-consuming job, and I appreciate all you're doing. However, right now, I have some concerns, environmental issue concerns that we have in Fairfield Glade here. And I know you don't want to hear about it because I know there's a policy change coming up regarding the tree cutting, the clear cutting of the trees. All right? Our wildlife...
We're not going to take comments on trees policy. That's with the ACC.
Okay,
So
so
if-
in other words, I can't say anything about the tree policy
The board
or the
has
clear
not
cutting?
seen the recommendations.
Okay.
We have not seen all the comments. All of that's being done by the ACC.
Okay, I understand that, but my question then would be, the debacle that happened here last week, last Friday, when the clear cutting happened, when there was so much damages to our community, including 4 poles, transformers, sewage leaking into the lake, and here's a newspaper article if you haven't seen it. I happen to live by that lake. 2,500 gallons of sewage went into our lake due to this clear cutting of this tree on a gentleman's property that was approved by the ACC to cut down. He totally clear cutted the property. The damages were astronomical. 450 people in the community were without power for 6 hours. We had people going to water aerobics at St. George that morning, not aware of the sewage leak, elderly people that could have contacted any kind of bacteria in that water, okay? We talk about insurance. Who is going to pay for all these damages? Is it the tree company? Is it the homeowner? Is it the ACC who approved these trees to be cut down? I don't know, but that's on you guys, okay? I mean, I'm not a rocket scientist. I don't know a lot about environmental issues, but this is a no-brainer, that this has to stop. That's it. Tree policy, we'll discuss that at a later date, but you guys have to be aware of what happened the other night. It was a nightmare. to our
We're-
community?
We're very aware of it.
Okay.
And
And it
there's-
was approved.
There's things being done to look
Okay.
into all of that.
My
right now.
question is, who is paying for this?
The answer is to be determined,
To be determined.
because we got to find out what really happened, who did what, when, how, all of that.
Who paid
Keith,
the
do you
grinder
wanna-
pump people and all to go out there?
I'm sorry, what?
The grinder pump people had to go out, all this
I
overtime that
understand.
was submitted?
Yeah.
Who's paying for that right now?
Well, we pay the people to go out and do that work. They're
Okay.
on our payroll. That
Correct.
doesn't necessarily mean that that's who's going to pay the final thing. That's what the part of the investigation has to find out, exactly what happened, who did what, when they did it, and all of that. Keith,
I can-
do you want to comment at all about the discharge into the lake? Yeah, I think it's important that we get that
And I
straightened
do
out.
appreciate
happy
our
to
grinder
address
pump
it if,
people. I think they do a fine job here. I'm very appreciative of your work, by the way.
Hello.
Hi.
Well, everybody remember the ice storm of 2015, right? Yeah. Okay, power went out. We had hundreds and hundreds of grinder pumps that were old, failing. When the power went out, people continued to use water for days. When the power came back on, all of those grinder pumps flipped on. Because those grinder pumps were so old, the grinder pumps themselves failed. Check valves blew out, stators blew out, and the pump itself. It really didn't damage the infrastructure of our sewer lines. We had some issues, but they were very small. Now, because we took those pumps and updated them, made them better, fixed the problems that were wrong with them, made them run better. And then we've also influxed a whole bunch of brand new pumps into our system since 2015. I mean, we're talking 4 or 5 years now. So, that being said, when the power went out, people still continued to use water. When the power came back on, instead of the grinder pumps failing, the grinder pumps did what they were supposed to do, push water. They pushed water into a pipe that was not designed to have that many pumps running into it at that time. So what happened was it built up pressure. The pressure needed to be relieved somewhere. That was where the break was. It was a repair that was done a long time ago. Apparently the repair was not sufficient for that amount of pressure. So it caused the pipe to crack along that repair. So therefore we had sewer leakage. We're continually trying to improve our sewer system. We're continually trying to improve our grinder pumps. And because of that, we have good pumps. The only thing that I can recommend is that when we have power outages, stop using water. I can't express that any greater. Stop using water, because your pump is going to fill up. And when the power comes back on, it's just going to flip, and you've got a whole bunch of cars trying to get on an interstate at the same exit, and it ain't going to happen. So
I would also like to speak to the fact that what occurred was an accident by a vendor that was there. It just, things happen. The man fell. Fortunately, he wasn't killed, but it was an outside cutting company, and that created a domino effect of the power poles that went down. VEC responded. We had the Fairfield Glade police were there immediately. They put alternate routes around, and they did a social media post regarding and advising people to stay out of that area, and they directed and assisted any homeowners and vehicles ingressing and egressing out of that area. They were there in very short order. We could not get confirmation from VEC as to how long it was going to take to complete the repair. They gave us estimates. It ended up taking about 8 hours. The break that Keith is referencing was unpredictable. People can question all they want, but that was just a fact of what happened, and there was an immediate response to it. We could not get a response immediately as soon as we would like from the state. They were not returning our calls. But we proceeded over and above with, on the side of caution, with notifying the community and proceeding as we always do. I want to clarify for everyone here and that's viewing, we regularly test our wastewater on property. We test our lakes. That is part of our standard operating procedure, and those records are forwarded and inspected on a regular basis by the state and by the environmental. I want to state that Bruce Evans has the highest certifications of any wastewater person in the state of Tennessee. He is fully qualified to do his job and to manage our system, and he and Keith and the rest of the team do a very good job. So although it does sound like a lot of water, and it is not insignificant, I agree, but relative to the volume of that lake, it is not. The state, when they finally got back to us, told us that we had done all we needed to do and there was nothing more. We took the extra step of testing that lake, and we kept that lake closed for an additional 24 hours until we got our own internal results for our own peace of mind, and they all tested well below any range that would even remotely begin to create a public health concern. So at that point, we reopened the lake. So if there's, I am proud of the team and proud of the response we did. And with regard to responses in the future, we are in the process of upgrading to what's called a company called Code Red, and it'll provide us with a texting capability going forward that uses geofencing. So we will be able to, if we so wish, to only text people in a certain GPS area relative to outages and so forth. We will also be able to do it on a broader scale, community-wide, depending on the nature of the incident, so that if you happen to be out of state, downtown, wherever, you will get that update as to what's going on. This will be a savings in the long run relative to the former texting service we had. The former texting service we had billed us for every text that this is a subscription monthly fee, and it's a much more enhanced and upgraded texting capability. So it's going to take about another 4 weeks to, but IT as well as Chief Kate and myself are working on that as we speak, and there will be plenty of communication, and you'll be well informed about it once we're ready to go live. But that is an upgrade that was brought forward by IT and Chief Kate, and I approved it a couple of months ago. So we'll look forward to adding that to our enhancing our communications capabilities going forward. So,
comment on that, I do feel that is warranted, and like I said, I myself was in emergency management. I feel they did a fantastic job the other night. I'm not pointing blame at anyone here. However, I am saying that is warranted. Nobody would know not to flush their toilet. That sewage would leak in the lake. And that's not your fault, okay? It's just what it is, okay? However, would any of you want your grandmother or mother swimming in that lake? It was not closed on the day after St. George. People in water aerobics were in that water. Vacationers were in that water. There were people on the beach after that sewage.
We closed.
I saw it firsthand.
Right.
Sorry, but I saw it.
We closed the lake at 10 o'clock
Okay.
that morning.
And when was the leak?
And
What time was the leak?
we were hoping to have gotten clearance from the state of Tennessee, the people that we report to in the environmental department. We were not getting as timely a response as we hoped.
Okay, I understand that.
So
but
therefore,
there
we
were people in the lake.
Okay,
in the sewage.
there was no indication that there was a issue in the
25,000 gallons that went into the lake.
Correct, and it was not an issue. It was not a safety public health issue. It never was. And
That's your quote, that's fine.
well, it was my decision, yes. And I wasn't trying to create undue panic or undue steps or measures. I operated based on the information I have, as did our SMTs, and we acted accordingly. But the environmental agency was not getting back to us, and we, as I said, we took measures over and above. And I would hope that you would appreciate that.
I may disagree with you, but I respectfully
Okay,
take
sure.
your comment.
We can agree to
Had it
disagree.
been a family member of mine swimming in that lake, I would have been very upset.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, you're
That's
welcome.
all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we stand adjourned. Thank you.